Strategy and state are two of the most commonly confused design patterns because on paper, their class diagrams look nearly identical. In this video, we will slow down and look at what each pattern is actually trying to do so you can recognize which one belongs in your codebase and why. When you first encounter strategy and state, it is tempting to treat them as the same pattern with a different name. Both extract varying behavior into separate classes behind a common interface. The confusion is real because the code scaffolding looks the same. What separates them is not the structure but the reason you reach for each one, and understanding that reason is everything. Think about a GPS navigation app. You consciously choose a routing strategy, fastest route, fewest toll roads, and the app uses it. That choice is yours and it stays put. Now think about a traffic light. Nobody outside the light decides when it turns red. The light tracks its own internal state and transitions itself. That difference in who drives the change is exactly the distinction we care about. In strategy, the context holds a reference to a strategy interface, and the caller, your application code, decides which concrete strategy to hand in. The strategies do not know about each other. In state, the context also holds a reference to a state interface. But now the concrete state objects themselves can tell the context to switch to a different state. The outside world often does not even know a transition happened. Look at the strategy side first. The sorter class holds a sort strategy reference. The caller creates a sorter with a bubble sort instance and can later call set strategy to swap in a quick sort. The sorter never decides which algorithm to use. That is the caller's job. Now look at traffic light. It also holds a reference to a traffic state. But each ConcreteStates next method calls light.setState itself, passing in the next state. The light cycles green to yellow to red entirely on its own. No external code orchestrates those transitions. Here is where the real difference crystallizes. In strategy, the caller is in control. It hands a strategy in and can replace it whenever it likes. But the strategies themselves have no knowledge of each other. In state, control is inverted. The state objects manage their own successor, so the context transitions without any external instruction. Strategy is about choice, state is about lifecycle. Ask yourself one question: who decides when the behavior changes? If it is the caller, a user action, a config value, a test, reach for strategy. If the object itself must watch its own condition and move to the next phase, a connection going from connecting to open to closed, an order going from pending to shipped, reach for state. When the transitions are automatic and rule-governed, state keeps that logic safely encapsulated inside the object. The structural similarity between strategy and state is not a flaw in the pattern catalog. It shows that good design often reuses the same delegation mechanism for different purposes. Nail down the intent first. Is this a choice the outside world makes or a life cycle the object manages itself? Answer that, and the right pattern follows naturally.